the hallmark of great academics is that most of their views remain consistent with time. Their views do not change for short-term benefits, as in today's time, we often see that people change their views owing to short-term benefits and opportunism and for a little bit of political gains. Back in 2009, Professor Norman Finkelstein, the great Professor Norman Finkelstein, talked about the issue of Hamas back then, upon which the Western media, we have seen to this date, get so much frustrated on. Professor Norman Finkelstein talked about this issue, these sensitive issues, even 16 years back, 15 or 16 years back, and just have a listen.
Yeah, I have a very clear question. My name is Francine Verhoeven, and I feel really lonely here today because I'm a descender of what you're talking about. You're right in one thing. We cannot fool all the people all of the time. So when you Google, did you Google Hamas and its constitution and what it says about the state of Israel? Because that has been neglected all afternoon. Thank you.
Okay.
So the question is about, Hamas charter. I mean, often portrayed. The West likes this narrative of, portraying Hamas as, these barbaric people, and you cannot just, they want to wipe out Israel. This kind of narrative, which is totally false, because Hamas actually can be negotiated to a fair deal, and they can be negotiated to the 1967 borders as well.
On the question of the Hamas charter, I go back far enough to remember when Israel's apologists like to waive the PLO charter. The more Arafat said he wanted to negotiate the settlement, the more they ripped out the charter and said, what about the PLO national charter? What about the PLO national charter? And now they're playing the same game with the Hamas charter. There's a simple way to test Hamas. They say they're willing to negotiate in the two-state settlement in the June 67 border. Go to the negotiating table with them and see whether or not they're willing. That's not difficult to do. Do you want a settlement, or do you want a pretext for appropriating another people's country? If you want a settlement, you look for any opportunity to settle things diplomatically. The Soviet Union had a charter. I don't remember when the Soviet Union entered into diplomatic relations with the United States, anyone said that Mr. Stalin had to renounce the Communist Manifesto. I don't. Last line of the manifesto, workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your change. You have a world to win. Nobody said that was a condition for negotiations. The Soviet Union had to renounce. The Communist Manifesto had to renounce Lenin's state and revolution. This is all just sheer nonsense. It's excuses thrown in the way because of what Israel fears the most, those Palestinian peace offensives.
Yeah, so 15 years back, the pure academics were saying to negotiate, and now we are saying still to negotiate. But the thing is, Israel doesn't want a diplomatic solution. Israel is not willing for a diplomatic solution. And that's why I say that Israel is not a moderate nation. I think this has been proven now. Now, these are 2 decades of evidence in front of us. It's behaving like an extreme bully, right? And in order to tame a bully, you have to use force against a bully. And that is ultimately where I think a solution will lie. A military solution is the best solution for Israel. To wrap up, again, I must appreciate Professor Norman Finkelstein. Again, this heroic work by this person and these pure academics, these people are the reason why Israel has suffered a loss on the media war and the 5th generation warfare. And with that, assalamu alaikum.